Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's session is going to be a technical one, and the topic is interacting with Forti Manager using REST API in Python. So I've created a wrapper package or module you can say, which handles all the API calls of Forti Manager. This package was published a few days ago. The name is PY Forti Manager API. So get this installed on your machine as we are going to use it in our today's session. Also, I have uploaded the code on GitHub and I have tried to document it as much as possible. So the link is in the description, do check it out. And without any further delays, let's get started. So here I have created a scenario in GNS3, and with this scenario I'll be able to explain all the methods that I have created in the package. And basically the scenario is, you can see we have a LAN segment and WAN segment. Both are Fortinet devices sits on LAN. The management address of FortiManager is 10.11.100. The FortiGate is 10.11.50, and we have a small web server sitting on 10.11.25. Also, we can see that this FortiGate can access this outside world with the public address 193.168.27.1. Now, in this outside world, a machine is present with this public address and it's trying to access our web server. And now we came to know that this machine is an attacker and we need to block it from accessing our web server on this FortiGate. So we will do the configuration on FortiManager and we'll try to push it on our FortiGate using a package. Before proceeding with our configuration, let me show you how this web server looks like. Basically, this is a Windows machine with the IP 10.11.25. It's the same, and on this machine, a web service is installed on port 8000. So let us try to access this server locally. Yeah, so this is the web page that it displays, and the attacker is trying to access this page, but we are gonna block him. Also, let me show you the attacker's machine. This is also a Windows machine, and we'll let me show the IP first. Yeah, this is the IP 92.168.30.25. From this, we will try to access that server, and of course, the this attacker will try to access that server with public IP, and hence I have done the NATing on this FortiGate. That is the destination NAT. The IP is 193.168.27.200. Let's try to access that. Okay, yeah, we are able to access this server, and let's see the logs on the FortiGate. So this is our FortiGate on 1.50. Basically, I am trying to manage both the FortiGate and FortiManager using this machine. Yeah, so here are the logs of the attacker trying to access our private server, and now we are going to block him. What I'll do is, my machine is running a bit slow, so I'll turn off this attacker's machine to free up some RAM, and before pushing the policy, we'll start this machine and then test our scripts. Okay, so I'll shut down this PC. Okay, now let's see what are the policies installed in the FortiManager right now. So here is our FortiManager, and you can see that the package name, the policy package name is local lab, and here there are three policies. The attacker was permitted because we had a policy in place with the policy ID 10, which says that anyone can access the HTTP server. This is the object of that server. And now there is also a policy in place with ID2 which says blocked, which HTTP server, but the source is kept none, and we will add this attacker in this field. Okay, so this is a task, and let's achieve it. So I've created a blank field, blank file, the Python file, and let's import a package. And we need to create an instance of it. Uh, for creating an instance, we need the host, and the user credentials. Okay, now we have created an instance. So let's get all the addresses present in this Forti manager. Let me show you what all addresses are present here. Okay, so in this addresses tab, these many objects are present, and we will try to get all of them using our package. So here's a method get firewall address objects. With this method, we can get all the objects present, which I have shown just now. Let's print it out. Okay, we have got here. Let's try to format the output. I'll import JSON for it. Now here these are all the addresses present in Forti manager. We can see the name, fabric device with subnets 000. These are all objects in the Forti manager. We can also get the output for a single address object. We will try to get the output for LAN, for this object LAN 10.1.1.0 slash underscore 24. Let's do it. To get the output for this single address, we just need to pass a parameter with name and the name of the object. So this will only return the data for that specific address. There it is. The object name is LAN 10.1.1.0 slash 24, and it carries a subnet of 10.1.1.0 slash 24. Yes. Okay, so now that we know how to get the address objects, we'll try to add one, as we need to add for an attacker the IP address I have noted down. Okay, now let's add this attacker's address. To do it, you can save this in the variable. So the method is add firewall address object, and it needs the parameters like name. You can see the prompt in a string format. We'll keep the name as the IP itself with the subnet mask. Let's add it 92.168.30.24 underscore 32. So this would be the name of the address. The associated interface is kept default to any. We'll add the subnet, and this subnet should be in a list. So let's list of IP and mask. So let's print the output. So we have got the response as okay. The code 0 means it was a success with the message. Let's see if this object is created in a firewall. Yeah, so here it is. It has now been created. Now that we have intentionally made a mistake in creating the object, I have intentionally put this as 24, but the IP address is 25. Let's try to update it. So to update the address object, we have a method that is update firewall address object, and this which object we need to update, that name we need to pass in this name, in the parameter name. The name is this one. So we can see the data is in what. So which data we need to specify? This I have again added static method. Let me show you that. So what all parameters will go inside this update object will be shown using this method, show params for object update. We will try to print this out. So here it is, parameters to create an update address object. These all parameters will go after the name. So sorry, after the name. So we have allow routing, associated interface, comment, object name, subnet, and object type. These are the settings. These are the settings which will be changed using these parameters. So for our purpose, we need to change the name first of all and the subnet. So we'll use the object name parameter and the subnet parameter, and we will also try to add a comment to it. So let's do it. So I want to add one more thing. These parameters, the brackets after the parameters specify the value which it is accepting, the type of value. So the command accepts string, the subnet is accepted using a list, and the object name is also in a string format. We'll try to print the output. Let's see if it gets updated. So this code is 0. That means it was updated. Let's see on our manager. It's 24/32. Let's refresh it. Okay, it is now being updated with the correct IP address of the attacker. Now let's try to add an address group, and we will add this address object in that address group, and this address group will go in the source field. To create an address group, we again have a method. I'm sorry, that is add address group. It will take name. We'll give it a name, block server, and it should consist at least one member. So we'll try to add a member in this, and this member should be in a list. So what we'll do is we'll try to add the LAN object, and with this we'll try to update with our attackers object. So the update method will also be included in the explanation. So let's do it. We directly need to pass the object name. So now an address group will be created, and a member will be there in this address group. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to print the output. It got created. Okay, let's see if it has got created. So here we can see the object is created, the address group is created, and we have LAN member. We'll try to remove this, and we'll try to add the attacker's object. So to update the object, the address group, we have a method update address group. It will take the name of the address group which we need to update. That will be the same name. And it will take the object name which we need to add or remove. So here we need to remove the LAN object, but if we remove, then the address group will be empty, and this is not allowed. So what we'll do is we will first try to add the attacker's IP, and then we'll remove the LAN object. The object name will be the attacker's object name. And here we need to specify if we need to add or remove it. We need to add it. Let's run this. Okay, it worked. So let's see if the member is added, and yes, it has. Now we'll remove the LAN object. So just we need to change the do parameter, that is to remove. And what we need to remove is the LAN object. Okay, it was removed. Let's see. Yes, it was. So we have created the address group. Now we need to add this address group in a policy in the source field. So let's do it. So to update the policy, we have update policy method, that is update firewall policy, and it will take the policy package name. In our case, it is local lab. And which policy ID we need to update? The policy ID is 2. And the data that we need to update. And this data will go in Guard. So for this too, which parameters we need to insert so to get the help of this, to get the help of for the parameters, I have created one more static method in this package. Let me show you. It is show params for policy update. It's the same doc string for our documentation. Let's print this out. Okay, so here are the parameters that will go in the quarks. So we need to update the source address, which was none. In our case, we will add the source address, and we will again add the comment. The source address will be the name of the address group. Let's add the comment, and we'll update the policy. Okay, so return code was 0. That means it was updated. Let's see our policy. Okay, so now we can see the address group is added in the source field. So the last thing is to install the policy in FortiGate firewall. So what I'll do is I'll turn on that machine which I shut down. Meanwhile, we will write the code for the installation. For the policy installation, we have a method install policy package, and we need to specify the package name. In our case, it is local lab again. Okay, so with this statements, the policy will get installed. But first, we will try to access this server again from our attacker's machine. Okay, he is able to access. So with our configuration, we will now push the policy in FortiGate, and let's test if he is able to access. So when we run test, let's see the output. And we can see the status code was 0. That means policy installation is in progress. Let's see our FortiGate manager, and you can see your task is in progress. That is, policy is being installed on our FortiGate. Let's wait for installation. So the installation is done. Now we will try to access that site. So he is unable to access this web server now. Let's check the logs. Okay, here we can see the destination. The attacker was blocked by the rule which we modified. So in this way, we can interact with FortiManager in this package using this REST API. Let me show you how to create one policy, because that's the thing I think I didn't show. So for the policy creation, we have a method. Add firewall policy, and it will take a lot of parameters. First is the policy package name, in which policy package we need to install the policy. Now is its local lab again. The name of the policy, I'll give it a. Service we will permit all TCP traffic. Schedule is kept always by default. Action is also kept 1 by default. Action equals 1 means we will permit. Action equals 0 means we will deny this rule. And the log traffic, we will log all the traffic. So here it could be three options. 0 is for no log, 1 is for logging the security events, and 2 is for logging all events. So we'll keep it as 2. It should be address. And let's keep this source interface as port 2. Port 1, sorry. So this is the policy creation. Let's print it out. Okay, so the return code was 0 with message OK. Let's see if our policy is being created. So here we can see our test policy was created, and we can install this in our FortiGate if needed. So this is how we can interact with our FortiManager using this package, and I hope this package can be useful in your projects as well. Now what we can do is we'll try to create one more script in which we'll take the attacker's IP address as a user input, and we'll try to add that IP in our address group and again push the policy. So let's create another script here. Actually, I have already written the code, so I'll copy and paste it. I'll explain what's the code. So here we have imported our package. We have created an instance. Now we have taken the attacker's IP address from user. This IP address will go in this variable. With this input, we will create an object name with dash underscore 32. The subnet will also be created with mask 32, and we will add this data in the. We will add an object, an address object using this data with this method, that is add firewall address object, and we will add that firewall address object in the address group. We will update it. I have kept group equals add. So, and at last we will install this policy. So let's execute this code. The attacker's IP, I'll put it as 5.5.5.5. This is random IP. Okay, so the object was created and added, and the policy installation is in progress. So you can see the policy installation is in progress. Let's see if the object was added. Yes, the object was created and it was added in this address group, and we have successfully installed the policy also. So this saves us a lot of time. So yes, that's it from my side. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any issues or suggestions, please post it in the comment section, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.